I went underwater. When I was underwater, I seen myself. And he looked at me and said, welcome back. His name was Talak, another aspect of me who has the full memory, who knows how to travel to different dimensions in space and time.
You allowed to see 2030 on behalf of the collective.
CERN, in a very simple way, is the same symbolism of Stranger Things. The shifts we're going through from 2025 all the way to 2030, we're moving to a time where they cannot alter space and time like they used to.
That was only 3 years ago?
Michael Jackson was a soul who was here to show many how to be in their childlike nature and to expose the elites. What is something in your life that you do that makes you forget about time? What is something in your life that triggers you, that angers you, but it unlocks something in you?
Adewale Adeoye, welcome on Just Tap In, brother. What are you most excited about right now globally and in your life?
First, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. The first thing that I'm happy and what's going on individually is the remembrance. I'm going into a space where I'm really understanding who I am, what I'm here to do, and it's exciting to be here. Now, when it comes to us globally, we're at a space right now that all the souls who are here, that's been here in other timelines, the ancient times, the Lemurian times, the Egyptian times, the Atlantean times, we're all back right now because we're at a space where we're going to a different dimensional consciousness on this place that we have never been here before. So what we're experiencing right now is the heaven on earth in a way that we have never seen before. So this is an exciting time for us all, and I'm excited to see how things unfold.
Beautifully said. And I know personally for you, you recently had a dream and you heard a voice say, welcome back. And if you would like to take us a little bit deeper into that experience, because I know that so much has been unlocking for you personally, what happened in that dream and what unfolded thereafter?
Yes. So last week, for the souls who love astrology, I'm a Pisces. And everyone knows that the Pisces are really in tune with their dreams. And I had a dream where I went underwater. And when I was underwater, I seen myself. And when I seen myself, I didn't look like me now. I looked like an older version of me. And he looked at me and said, welcome back. And I started to have conversation with him. And he said to me, this is what you remember with the Akashic Records. And he explained that that person I was speaking to was me, but his name was Talak. And Talak is a being, is another aspect of me who has the full memory, who knows how to travel to different dimensions in space and time. And he was showing me that the underwater place that I was at was called the Theoplane. And the Theoplane is a plane where the plane where creation first started. So in a visual, how this would look like a blueprint, like a graphic design blueprint. So I would see water, but it's like I wasn't in just underwater. It was like I was in a plane of existence of water. And he explained to me that a lot more of your remembrance is about to open up. Another level of your gifts is going to open up. You're going to start to see colors that's not names that we have on this in this earth, but it's part of you being an indigo. And when he explained me being an indigo, he told me how a lot of the indigos right now are the people who have something called the 24 chromosome, where we have this gene where we can tune into the unseen very easily. So people like Kanye West, these Pharrell, these people who are very musically gifted, they are indigo beings, even Michael Jackson, that's here to help humanity to rise to a different level of conscious. So this is something that my dream was showing me very significantly, and I'm still integrating into right now.
And I know we're going to go deeper into all of these memories that have been unlocking for you from the Akashic field. But before that, I know that you've been forged in the fire, quite literally, in your journey. And the first time we met in person, for those of you that don't know, Adewale is the partner and husband to our beloved guest, Aaron Lyons. And when we first met in person, I just felt this energy and resonance with you, man. And one thing that you immediately shared was your story. And it stuck with me since that day. And I know that growing up, you played professional football, at a very high level, American football. And then along the path, there was a spiritual awakening in between. And then you ended up in an Airbnb in Mexico, in Tijuana. If you could walk us through what that journey was like for you, because it was quite literally an initiation, and so many others that are tuning in can potentially resonate with initiations in their life. What was that journey, and what opened up as well in being forged in the fire?
Yes. So this was a near-death experience I went through 3 years ago. And this is when I felt called to go to Tijuana. I have a daughter, and I wanted to go see my daughter, and she lives in Tijuana. So I went with my fellow friend. Her name was Christian, and we decided to go on a trip to Tijuana. And when we went there, we was in an Airbnb. We was there for like 3 or 4 days, and we was enjoying the land. We were enjoying the atmosphere that we was in, and the day I went to sleep, my friend Christian showed me something. She was like, hey, I feel like with your gifts with the Akashic Records, you should do something like this. So she was showing me a guy, I can't remember his name, but he does astrology and he does DJing. She was like, yo, you could do that with the Akashic Records. I was like, oh my God, this would be so amazing. And my friend ended up going to sleep. And that day was Monday. And I end up going to sleep 15 minutes later, and went to sleep. And when I went to sleep, I woke up. It was Wednesday. Went to sleep on Monday, but I woke up on Wednesday. And when I woke up, I was like, I swear it was Monday. And I felt out of body. I felt like something was off. And then when I stood up to look for my friend was laid on the ground and she transitioned. And my body went into shock of, what happened? How is she transitioning? How is it Wednesday? What's going on? So I immediately called the police. I couldn't get through to them. I think it's because I spoke English. I panicked, went downstairs to try to have someone to help me. Since I spoke English, they couldn't understand me. So I said, you know what? Let me find my center. Let me take a moment. Let me breathe to see what to do. And I lit an incense. I decided to light an incense. And I lit the incense, it blew up in my face. And it blew up 2 stories. And I had to run for my life. I had on full clothes. By the time I was done burning, I didn't have no clothes on. It burned me all the way to my drawers. And I felt my body go into almost like a trance where it says, this is your testimony. Logically, at that time, I was like, what does that even mean? So everything started to burn. had to go to the hospital. I was very concerned about my friend and what happened. And they would say, "Sir, we want you to know that your friend, she's no longer with us." I broke down. And he told me, he said, "You're also burned third degree. And if you leave this hospital, you will die." And the first day of being in the hospital, I lost the ability to walk. And I seen a light being come to the side of me and say, "It's time for you to surrender because you're about to move to the next chapter of your journey." And them saying that, I actually felt my body go into a different frequency of just surrendering and allowing whatever needs to happen. 2 days later, I went to San Diego. And on that transition to San Diego, I was asleep. And I had a dream. In the dream, I seen myself in a wheelchair. In a wheelchair, me was talking to me again. And he said, "Welcome back, Professor X." So when that happened and I was in a wheelchair for a couple weeks, something started to change within me. My throat started to change. My vision started to change. And I had a premonition like in my visions one day, and it showed me what happened that Tuesday. That Tuesday they showed me that I was in this underwater place again, and it said to me, "This is the next chapter of your life, and you're about to go through I forgot what they call it, but it's when your soul swap with another soul of yours." So I swapped another soul at that time, and then they showed me my friend, and my friend said, "I don't want to come back. I don't want to be here no more. It's too much pain here." And I told her, I said, "Well, I have to stay because I'm here to help humanity to remember." So throughout that process, it really showed me why I came back. And this was my second near-death experience. So my first near-death experience helped me to see how to move in a way where you don't freak out. You just allow the process to happen. You allow the alchemy to happen. And that experience that I went through, it changed my life forever because I decided to go into a transition where I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to be here, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be mad of my face is burned, my friend died, what is going on. I asked the universe, what is this trying to show me? And what it was trying to show me is to be a man who's in his heart and not to try to force things into existence, allow, and go into the alchemy process. So this showed me how to alchemize my life, how to transform my life with going through the experience of losing everything. I lost everything. Everything was burned. I wrote books. I had clothes. All it was gone. So I had to see the value of myself beyond material reality. And it changed my life drastically.
Hello, beautiful family. Quick one today. I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed to this channel. Your subscription means more than you know. Even though it's free, what you're doing is you're empowering a whole channel to be able to do this every single day and continue showing up in the way that we can with all of our resources on hand. Thank you for contributing to the growth of this channel, for sharing it with the people that you love, for creating a conscious movement of individuals that are seeking the sovereignty and the divinity of their soul. This is why we're here. And if you haven't already and you're enjoying this content, I invite you now to look below on that little button that says subscribe and welcome you properly to this community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being who you are and being pure love and radiating that with everyone that you see. Back to the episode. It's taking a moment because that's such a powerful testimony, and I'm really grateful that you're able to share it here. And one thing going back to that as well is this notion of coming back, but something had changed within you, and these gifts and the voice changing and what you were able to perceive and see beyond the veil. What was it like in those initial phases when the gifts started to come back? The Professor X, the X-Men started coming back.
I felt like a baby. I felt that I was in a process of when you first come out the womb, but I was 27 years old, and I felt like I went through a process where I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to speak. I had to learn how to use my body again. But I had these different gifts. I used to have a nose ring. My nose ring, it burnt off. I used to have my ears pierced. So I became a whole different person. So I had to learn how to speak, because if I spoke in a way that was angry or frustrated, I could have had my blood pressure to raise, and that could have put me in a very severe experience. So I had to learn how to speak from my heart. I had to learn how to be humble with my mother and my father. They had to clean me. They had to help me like I was a baby again. So even things when it came to my mother and my father that I was angry about, I had to release all of those things. And in some of those processes with the gifts opening up, my mom and my father actually had to see that because I couldn't hide it. So I was speaking different languages. I was seeing things. I was telling my dad how I was gifted with seeing things, and I could see my grandma, and I described her, and he was like, wow. And the acceptance of, wow, I had someone tell me when you was younger that you was going to be known around the world of doing something and helping people. But I didn't know what it was. I thought it was football. So him explaining that to me and him seeing me in my gifts, it showed me that my dad does see me. My family does see me. And I don't have to hide who I really am. And I think those are deep revelations that it allowed these new gifts to unfold. And now I'm fully walking with them in my purpose.
Wow. I also heard you mention and describe in that experience that it's almost as if Spirit had arranged a massive timeline shift in your life. You know, shortly after you met Aaron, and now you have a child together. And also I wanted to relate that to what Talak has been bringing forth about the Mandela effects that we're starting to see right now more frequently, and how you could piece those two together, because you went through your own timeline shifts. It feels like that's happening on a collective scale right now, and how you've also been able to witness that.
Absolutely. I feel like I went through that individual experience to help me of where we're at right now, which is 3 years later. And that experience...
That was only 3 years ago?
That was 3 years ago. That was only 3 years ago. And even saying that right now, I'm seeing how like it really hasn't been that long, and my whole life is different. Like I am a completely different person. And then when that happened, something very significant happened. Where my guides told me that they wanted me to use the flower of life and imagine the color indigo and put this in my body and listen to a song every single day. And we want you to listen to this song on auto loop. And we want you to travel and to shift yourself into the reality you want to be. So every morning at 4:30 a.m., I listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire Fantasy. And I created my reality. Every single day at 4:30, I even had the nurse, they tried to come in, and I was like, no, you cannot come in right now. This is my space. This is when I need to create. And they end up respecting it. And when I was doing those things, I would see myself DJing. I would see myself helping people. I was seeing myself channeling the Akashic Records to people in retreats. And I would tap into the emotion and I would cry. And I was actually feeling like the vibration of doing that at that time. That eventually I seen when I was, because I was in a space where I had to get myself clean, like my legs and the burns and stuff. The people kept asking me, because I said, if you guys want to clean me, we have to play music. We have to have music. So I would play Earth, Wind, and Fire Fantasy, and it was like, are you a DJ? We love your music taste. Mind you, I never DJ'd before. So just the vibration of me saying that, after I got out the hospital, I met my wife, Erin. I started DJing. I started DJing at events. I started channeling Akashic Records and retreats. I started to have my own business. I had my first month where I made $10,000 in a month. So everything that I wanted to do, I was able to manifest in the non-physical. That now I'm physically experiencing every single thing that I wanted to do. And that is the connection of what we're all going through with this field we are in with the summer solstice, and the Mandela effect. We're all seeing what our dreams are, what we've been seeing in the unseen, what we know, what we're here to do. All of those things is happening in the material. But one thing that's very significant at this time is, do you feel that you are worthy of it? And if you feel that you're worthy of it, you're going to see your physical reality start to change a lot more. However, if you don't feel worthy of it, you're going to see a resistance. You're going to see a reality where you're like, I have to fix these things. I have to shift these things. And the more you do that, you're going to see yourself eventually shift into that different reality.
With your community, something that was fascinating to me is I saw you open up the field, the Akashic field, alongside Talak. When I was watching it, I didn't know it was that being. And you tuned into this great purification of the year 2030. And I was wondering if there's a moment where we can open the field to tune in to these massive, let's say, Mandela effects that we're witnessing right now. I know you also brought up CERN shutting down in that live. And, it brought so much clarity. So perhaps we can dig a little bit deeper as to what that all means right now in our evolution.
Absolutely. I think we should. Definitely think we should, because I really feel like we're at the, if I had to say a name, we're at the great upswinging. We're swinging to the right side up world, where we lived in a world where it was upside down. We have been living in a world where we have suppressed the feminine. We have suppressed our creativity. We have suppressed who we are. We have so many souls who don't know who they are, that feels lost, that a lot of souls wanted to escape. They wanted to be in Arcturus. They wanted to be in Lyris more than they wanted to be here on Earth. But now we're at the space, we're at the time that we have to see, we have to honor Earth. We have to see that the Arcturian self of us, our Lyran self, we have to bring that here so we can bring in the heaven on Earth.
And what specifically were you referring or tuning into around CERN? And I also know that you were exploring that the sun is changing. The color of the sun has also been changing. So I'm curious to know what information was received through the field that maybe could be shared for others to connect the dots as well.
Yes. So we'll talk about CERN first. So with CERN in a very simple way is the same symbolism of Stranger Things. And for the souls who have watched Stranger Things and the souls who haven't, I'll explain what it is. So in the show Stranger Things, this is a show that talks about a upside down world. And it talks about how the government used to go to these other worlds to alter time, to alter things, and to test kids and test different things that was kind of dark. And it's this person in the show, the main character, her name is Elle. She's 11, and she's a person who can remote view, and she's very clairvoyant. And it's this portal that she can open up that is connected to the upside down world. And that same upside down world, the portal that opens up, is the same thing that's happened in this world. We live in a world that have CERN, that is trying to understand the source particle. It's trying to understand the source field, which is the Akashic Records field. However, with the shifts we're going through from 2025 all the way to 2030, we're moving to a time where they cannot alter space and time like they used to. They actually have to stop because Mother Nature, she would not allow it. So they had to shut it down so we can go into a time where we're going to see a shift of time. We're going to see a Mandela effect. So a lot of us right now are seeing that time is it's becoming a lot more faster. We're going to see in August, like August is only going to feel like few weeks because we're shifting more into a parallel Earth where we're more heart based. We're more in the energy of being in our truth and being in authenticity. So this is a symbolism of what's happening with CERN that's changing our life, that we're seeing Mandela effects in all our lives.
What's an example of something that could be a Mandela effect? Maybe something that you've perceived in your reality.
This is a good one. This is a good one. So I had a very significant Mandela effect happen with one of my friends. I had to own my power. I had to say some things and express some things in a way that I wasn't okay with anymore. And with me expressing these things and telling this person that this was not okay, I seen how they change with me and their life start to change. This person was struggling financially, was struggling with some things, and just having that conversation, all of a sudden they got $20,000 in their bank account. All of a sudden, they had got a job opportunity they've been looking for the last 4 to 5 years, and then they met somebody that was their next door neighbor that didn't ever live there, but they said they always have lived there. And they expressed this to me, so I was like, okay, the Mandela effect is actually happening right now. And it's so crazy. I also had something else happen to me where I had a journal that I know I lost, that I know that I didn't have no more. That journal came in my book bag, and I don't know how it came in my book bag. So all this information that I was looking for from this journal, it came back into my reality. So it showed me that something is significantly different. Something has significantly changed because those things wouldn't happen in my reality if it wasn't a change.
They're little divine winks, the way I see it, of the universe letting us know that we are shifting timelines and that time and space is much more malleable than we've been taught. And I want to bring in something that came through in that transmission with Talak, where he was mentioning the Elohim, or the original beings. What was he trying to communicate around their presence and perhaps their relationship to humanity?
Okay. Talak wants to come through and speak more about this. Are you okay
For sure.
with this?
Always, always.
Talak, we want to give some information regarding the Elohim and what is connection to what's happening here on earth at this time. The Elohim are a group of beings that have been here since the ancient time. Some of them were non-physical beings. And some of these beings could come into a human body And they could come into a human body for over an hour and 44 minutes. And they can help people. They can guide people. The Elohim are the angelics. However, some of these beings, they did not listen to Creator. They had sex with people that they shouldn't have had sex with, humans, animals. So this brought in different races that wasn't supposed to be here. So this is part of why a lot of us is here right now. Because some things that we did, we have to rewrite, we have to rewritten. So a lot of the Elohim beings are here to rewrite the story and to make different decisions so we can bring in the heaven on earth story. The Elohims are beings that also is connected to helping us move into a different advancement of the human species. And this advancement is called Homo Luminous. And Homo Luminous is connected to us being more golden, holding more light. And this is connected to the yellow sun. With the yellow sun coming into fruition, this is a deep representation of what's happening in our body. This is a representation of what's happening with women right now. Around June 30th, a lot of women went through a very unique menstrual cycle. And that menstrual cycle that they went through changed their blueprint. That something is awakening in a lot of feminine right now. Their intuition is upgrading, their frequency of what they're sensing, what they're feeling, and they're going to an aspect of themselves that they have never experienced before. This is all connected to the yellow sun. The yellow sun is the second coming. This is what they've been talking about of the end games, the heaven on earth, the here and now world. This is all the deep prophecies, the symbolisms of what's happening to us all right now. So the sun is connected to our solar plexus. So we're becoming more embodied in our childlike nature and all the trauma from our mother, our father, those environments that we was in and those narratives we was telling ourselves of why we were playing victim or whatever, those things are releasing. And we're now seeing bigger lessons of those stories. So now with us seeing bigger lessons of this story, we're going to see those lessons, those wisdom teaching that we received. Now you're going to see a lot more people help more people, awaken more people, so we can bring in unity and we can be more in the order of one, the law of one. Because we're not in a time to be in the energy of gurus and someone's having higher power than us. It's for us to see our full power so we can bring that light to the world that we all need and what we all need to receive.
Talak, you allowed Adewale to see 2030 on behalf of the collective. And I'm wondering, what are some of those glimpses of 2030 that are beneficial futures that we can tune into energetically at this time?
Allow us to see 2030. For the souls who can see, you will be able to see. For the souls who need to hear or can hear clearly, you will be able to hear things right now. In 2030, we're going to see a different advancement. You're going to see us be more in cohabit with AI. We're going to see a lot of souls, a lot of beings here with us. We're going to see an exposure of places underwater. We're going to see the exposure of the truth of Antarctica. We're going to see a system change of currency. We're going to see that our mind is going to change and we're no longer going to be able to be controlled. So you're going to see a different system open up where you're going to see a lot of souls feel called to have mystery schools, to teach people more with their psychic abilities, to help them to advance to who they are. You're going to see more festivals, more concerts where people are awakening. So you're going to see more happiness, more peace, more love on the planet. But you're also going to see more resistance of what is not true for us all. And you're going to see people who were teachers but wasn't in integrity. You will see them be exposed a lot more. So these are the things you're going to see within 2030. And when we get into 2030, you're going to see a whole different world that we have never experienced before. However, some of the souls who was here in Atlantis time or Greece or ancient Egypt, when we had our memory, is going to be very similar to those types of things.
I know that Michael Jackson has deeply influenced and impacted Adewale's life. And he was saying that Michael Jackson learned the magic of the universe and he held the magical codes. What are some of those codes that you would like to help people unlock within themselves that perhaps were the ones that Michael Jackson was tapping into?
Michael Jackson is a person who was an Elohim. Michael Jackson was a soul who was here to show many how to be in their childlike nature and to expose the elites. This was his calling. Michael Jackson, when he was younger, and some people do not know this, Michael Jackson went to work with people who was very gifted, who was healers. Some of you know this person. His name is Dr. Sebi. Michael Jackson went to work with Dr. Sebi and went on a 40-day, 40-night fast. And after he went on that 40-day, 40-night fast, this is when Michael Jackson started to moonwalk. Michael Jackson went through very spiritual lessons, initiations. So this is why when he was dancing, he was architecting reality. Michael Jackson was a soul who was so in tune to his childlike nature. And this is why he had gifts the way he had them. Some of us are too serious. Some of us don't tune into our childlike nature. So we're not able to access the full flow state to go into the full field of the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is not a field that you can get to from your mind. The Akashic Records is a place that you have to get to from your heart. So when you move from your heart, this is when you build the bridge, and this is when you can do things beyond your imagination. So to speak to the souls who are listening, get in tune to your inner child. Have fun. Remember what it feels like to have fun. And start to do things not from a money intention. Do things from a unconditional love intention. And doing this is when people are going to get into their magic and just allow it to come out. Because Michael Jackson spoke about when he's dancing, he's becoming the song. He's becoming the instrument. So he's allowing himself to become the clear vessel to channel source. Some of us are trying to force or logically make sense, but you're not supposed to logically make it make sense. You're supposed to allow it to flow, and then this when all the energy comes through.
You've spoken about how the dynamics of our relationships are also changing. and that you see a time where we're returning back to a tribal village like nature. What does that entail for us that perhaps are living in cities, big cities? What is that future potential like?
We live in a world right now at this space and time that is no culture collectively. We have people, a lot of women, single parents, no father, no grandma, no grandpa, no singing the song to honor the ancestors, not honoring the land, not understanding that the elements are also spirit that talks to us and help us to move forward. This is the lost art. And this is what's coming back. And you're going to see a lot of this start to transition and transform around the times of end of 2027 and the beginning of 2028. Of us moving to a time where we're going to be more village-like. We're going to see a lot more people move from the times of not wanting to be in big cities. You're going to see more people want to move internationally. You're going to see more people feel called to move to different places, and they don't know why, because they're guardians of those lands. They are people who are honoring those lands in the different timelines that are supposed to do things on those lands at this time. We're going to see a lot of people, not all people, we want to really intentionally say this. We're going to see some people move from being non-traditional. Some people are going to be monogamous. However, some people are going to be poly. Some souls are seeing the suppression of how they used to be, and you're going to see more liberation. This is connected to some things we've done in the past. Of you had a lot of souls who were shamans in the ancient times, that a lot of the shamans was homosexuals, because the homosexuals had a gift that they could see, and they was the gatekeepers to the unseen. So we're going to see the veil uplift of the distortion of what people have said with homosexuality. We're going to see the veil of people becoming poly, but not in a way where it's lustful. It's more of for tribe, and it's for unity. And some of these people who's going to be poly, some of it's not going to be romantic. Some of it's just going to build and to create the path of what they're here to do and how they need to move. So these are some of the things we're going to start to see with us moving with tribal ways of being.
Mm. You've also said that we'll see the importance of the Halls of Amenti, places like Glastonbury, Egypt. Already a lot of people are traveling to those sites, Glastonbury in Egypt. What else is there for us to uncover in those lands, and potentially even deeper with the Halls of Amenti, which is not very well known?
The Halls of Amenti is connected to a place in Egypt where a lot of souls who was there in a time where it was a place called the Library of Alexandria. This was a place where it was Akashic Records, but it was an actual physical place. And you had beings underground who lived in the Halls of Amenti who was scribe writers. Some of them was poets, but some of them were warriors, and some of them had a mixed energy where you had protectors of people, protectors of the records, but you also had people who just was writing or bringing the information in the records. The Halls of Amenti is a place that 11,000 years ago, this was a place was very significant, and it's connected to a person that you guys know named Nikola Tesla. It's connected to the Tesla Coli, which is connected to the DNA that is opening inside of all of us. And it's also connected to free electricity. So this is something that Tesla was trying to bring a lot of awareness of. However, the elites did what they did. However, he was trying to help us to understand that the universe have given us everything, and we don't have to have a money thing to everything. So the Halls of Amenti, you're going to see that we're going to be moving into a way where we're more tribal. We're more moving in a way that's more connected with the elements and more connected with land. And with these ways of being, this is what you're going to see the transition within the next for the next 5 to 7 years. And people who are resistant to the change and attached to this way of living, you're going to see that it's going to be hard for them to sustain that type of living. Can't hear you.
One of the questions that you left people with in a previous transmission is, what are you doing to unlock your gift? And I'm curious, if you were to repeat that question, what are some steps in someone's journey that they can implement to unlock their gifts?
What is something in your life that you do that makes you forget about time? What is something in your life that triggers you, that angers you, but it unlocks something in you? Focusing on these two things, this is how you can move more into your gifts. Something that I have went through in my life. When I was a kid, I would create these action figures with just paper. I would create action figures, and these action figures I would create, they were like Power Rangers. And they would be doing Kung Fu. But when they was doing Kung Fu, I would see this all clairvoyantly in my eyes. And it's like I was there. That if my mom or somebody in my family opened the door, it would shock me, where it made me come back here. This was something that I did all the way till I was 13 years old. I started doing this when I was three years old. And that experience that I went through, I was scared to show people that. I was so scared to show people that gift. And every time my mom would ask me if I was dating someone, I had new friends, my mom would always ask me, "Did you tell them that you used to tear paper?" And I used to get so triggered. And I told my mom, I'm like, "Why do you want me to tell people that I was weird?" And she said, "I don't think you're weird. I think what you were doing was unique." And her saying that, it shifted my paradigm to understand that this is a gift that the universe gave me. It's not a curse. It's nothing bad about this. And my mom saying that to me, it got me curious of what was I doing when I was a kid. And then eventually I learned to see that it was the Akashic Records that I was accessing. Now I'm able to do this type of gift full time. So I want to ask all the souls who's listening to this, what is the thing that you do, that you love to do, that no one taught you, or somebody did taught you, but it gets you into a space where it's like, I love this. I would do this every day. I would do it for free. Once you sit with that, you find that, and you keep moving into that, that's when you will unlock your gift. Another way that you can unlock your gift is seeing the things in your life that's really triggering you, that's getting you to unlock something about yourself. And you keep going to that and facing that. That's when you're going to get to the other side to see the other steps of who you are. But if you don't face the shadow or face the trigger parts of you, it's going to be hard for you to unlock the gift into your remembrance.
And knowing that when you were 3 years old, you were tapping into the Akashic Records to all the way now, a few decades later, how has your relationship and access to the records evolved or changed?
It has changed. It has changed drastically. When I was younger, I was able to just see in the Akashic Records where I would be at different places. I would hear music. It's like I was like a it's like I was a composer almost. However, when I was 24, 25, and I went into the space where I started to have a spiritual awakening, my gifts started to change in a different way. I started to hear a Lyran, a Dromedan, Arcturus, Sirius, and I was like, what is this? And my shaman teacher at the time was like, oh, you're unlocking, your remembrance unlocking. So when I became 24, 25, this is when I went to the space where I could do readings. I could hear things, but I can also see things at that time. And now where I'm at, years later, I'm at the space where I can see it. I can feel it. Even when I'm dreaming, I can remember when I'm in the Akashic Records, and sometimes I see a book. So for me, it's almost a creative world that I just live in naturally. That even when I'm just with people, I can see different aspects of them. Like right now with you, you look like a wolf.
A wolf.
Yes. So I'm able.
What does that mean?
With you being a wolf, this shows you that you have an alpha energy. You have an energy that you are a leader, and you don't have to say that you are a leader. Your presence alone feel and people sense that you are a leader. When you will have a wolf spirit, when you have the energy of a wolf, full moons are very significant for you as well. You're able to go to a space where you feel different on full moons, that sometimes if you're not aware, you can be a lot more angry on full moons. So when you have a wolf spirit, it shows you have shamanic healing abilities, and the full moons have a deep connection to you as well.
Thank you for that, brother.
Yes.
Along those lines, I'm curious to know where we know each other from.
Okay, let's go into it. Where do I know Emilio from? Where do I know his soul from?
Chicken, bean, chicken, bean, chicken, bean, chicken, chicken, chicken,
Mr. Emilio Adewale know each other from Egypt. Kemetic brothers. You guys were brothers. You guys were teachers. You guys also used to be in the Halls of Amenti together. The Halls of Amenti is both a place where you guys learn how to understand poetry, how to understand speech, how to understand how to bring articulation and a communication to touch the masses. So we have known each other from this Halls of Amenti place, but we also know each other from a time called Greece. In Greece, ooh, Adewale did not understand this before, but he's understanding this now. In Greece, you and Adewale was twins. You guys were twin brothers. So you guys have a very significant energy with each other. If you guys went into conversation a lot more, you will see that a lot of your lives in this timeline is a lot similar. It's almost parallels. Because in a different lifetime, you guys were twin, and you guys had, it wasn't just you and Adewale, it was another person who was a twin with you guys. But you guys was warriors, and you guys did a lot of fighting in the Roman Empire. So this is why you guys both love athletics, and you love the energy of working on your body, because these are the timelines that you guys know for your soul's journey. This is how we know each other. That's cool.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. I'm trying to get the access code back into the Halls of Amenti. When are we going back?
We'll
I forgot
talk.
the password.
I got you.
Wow, so interesting. Have you watched the Odyssey yet?
I haven't, but a lot of people have been talking about it.
Yeah, I'm certain that some things will unlock for you when you watch that movie.
I will. I'll put it on my bucket list.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you how your ancestral lineage in this lifetime, I know you have a background from Nigeria, and how that has shaped your understanding of spirituality and all of these multidimensional concepts that you're getting into.
Nigeria, and I'm Nigerians. This time in my life, it's very significant of being Nigerian because when it came to my Nigerian lineage, I didn't learn a lot of things from like my father and stuff like that because my father, he came to America when he was 19. So a lot of his culture he didn't understand. However, what I have unlocked on my individual journey is a lot of my gifts of what I've been doing since I was a kid comes from my Nigerian lineage. When I first came into this world, my grandma, she gave me my name. My name was supposed to be Matthew.
You don't look like a Matthew, bro.
I know, right? My name was supposed to be Matthew. However, my grandma called my mother and said, no, his name has to be Adewale. My mom was like, I can't even say that name. Like, no, you have to learn this. His name have to be Adewale. And we want you to look up what this name means. And my mom looked up the name, and my mom seen that the name meant crown the king. She was like, okay. So my mom, she leaned into allowing my grandma to give me my name, and that was my initiation because my grandma, and from me going through past life regressions and understanding my grandma and stuff like that, my grandma knew that I was coming back. My grandma was very, very spiritual. She was very, very tuned in, and she knew that I was coming from my father to bring the remembrance back into my bloodline. And from me having these gifts and me talking to my grandma from the other side, she has walked me down the path of this is why you love drumming the way you do. This is why you love Michael Jackson. And I was like, what? Why do I love Michael Jackson? And she revealed to me that in a different lifetime, Michael Jackson was my brother. So a lot of the things that Michael Jackson has done and what I have seen and why he was my activator when I was younger is because he was my brother when I lived in Nigeria in a different lifetime. So my Nigerian culture really opened up a lot of my gifts that my grandma from the other side was helping me to remember, that now I'm able to help my brother, to help my father to also remember things that they forgot as well.
Wow. And I heard you in a live, you were asked how to turn off the slave gene and connect to the royalty wealth codes and the gene of that. How have you understood, especially with the lineage from Africa, around that gene, if it is a gene specifically, but let's say call it maybe a code that you had to, let's say, overcome and connect with the royalty gene, just as your name describes it?
Well, I went through a very significant thing on my own individual experience with this, that I have changed. I know I have rewired my DNA to release this out my being where it doesn't trigger me like it used to. When I was younger and I was in school, I remember reading that black people was 3/5 of a white person. And when I read that, I remember my body was like, okay, I'm not like white people. They're actually better than me. And I went to a very significant experience where I changed my name. I changed my name to Adele, not like like just for my own
Rolling in the deep.
yes. Yes. And it's funny you say that because that song, like I would listen to that song so much and I could see how so many people loved her that I was like, I want to be like Adele. So I actually changed my name to Adele. And I went through an experience where I started not to like my black. I hated my black. I didn't like my big nose. I didn't like my lips. And I actually changed my consciousness. And that time I was 13. And that's when I lost access to the Akashic Records. That is literally how I lost access to the Akashic Records because I went into a vibration. I went into a consciousness that, you know what? I am not a source being. I am lower than something else. So I went into being inferior. That overruled my life all the way to my early 20s. That when I was playing college football, I couldn't have a conversation with my white coaches. I felt like I couldn't talk to them. Like I would say, "What's up, coach? Goodbye, coach. What's up, coach? Bye, coach." I couldn't have the communication to speak to them because of what I have read. Then outside of college, I ended up having a plant medicine journey that helped me to see who I am. I went on a journey, and when I went on that journey, I was in Colorado. I was in the mountains, and I seen the water, and it told me to come here. And I'm like, did the water just tell me to come here? The water can talk? I'm gonna just listen. And when I did that, the water told me that you are God. God is you. You are God. You are not separated from Creator. And it did something to my body. It changed something about me. And when I went through that space, this is when a lot of my gifts start to open up. This is when I started to speak light language. I was speaking a gorilla language. I was able to do things with my hands where I was doing this. And I didn't know what it was. And I ended up finding out later that it was light codes. So when the water element activated me, it rewired and it put to sleep that slave gene. And with that slave gene going to sleep, I was able to have a different relationship with white people. I was able to have a different relationship with man. I was able to have a different relationship with people where I wasn't triggered from their experience compared to my experience. And another way that really helped me to own this frequency is listening to alpha and theta waves. When you listen to alpha waves and theta waves, this activates your billionaire frequency or just your wealth wave. A person who talks about this is a guy named Kevin Trudeau. He created a book called Your Wish Is Your Command. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. And me doing that, though, that gene, it doesn't live with me. I don't get triggered when people say that my ancestors were slave. I don't get angry anymore. And I feel like that's the thing that a lot of people are in. And it doesn't even, you don't even have to be black because there's other people that were slaves too. So me reclaiming my power, me taking back my power, that gene, it no longer is embodied in me. The gene is turned off.
Wow. When I look at that, I mean, I see people, I always see people as you're a soul who chose this costume.
Yes.
I happen to be a Latino blue-eyed dude walking around. And I'm wondering, because you said something that really stood out, is that you remembered who you were. And I've had similar experiences in plant medicine journeys as well. Like, again, the parallels, the twin brother parallels. And so I'm curious to know, when you remembered who you were, why did you remember that you chose to be Black in this lifetime?
The reason why I chose to be Black in this timeline, because it's a lot of suppression of Black people in this time, transparently. It's a lot of people, especially in America, who don't know who they are, angry of why they don't know who they are. They feel stuck, they feel limited, and they create a lot of chaos because they don't know who they are. So I wanted to go through experience of not having my father, who was Nigerian, there physically in the home with me, so I can bring in a different level of how to be a gentleman, who know how to honor women, who knows how to respect women, who knows how to protect women, to understand how to be more in tune with their emotions as a man. Because in the society, we are told that if you're too emotional as a man, you're not a man. You need to suck it up. But people sucking up, they're suppressing their emotion. And people suppressing their emotions, when it comes to man, their emotional intelligence is low. So I wanted to be Adewale, that means crown the king, and also to be a tall man so people can look at and see who he is, to inspire others to remember that, you know what, I can be in my heart too. You know what, I could be, have an athletic build and have this type of power and have muscles, but I'm also a safe space too. I can have a powerful voice and I don't have to speak over people. I don't have to talk over people. So all those things I had to go through in my own individual experience. And I know that's a lot of the collective experience that a lot of Black people, indigenous people go through, that I'm here to change, to show people you can be different.
Mm. Why do men close their heart?
Because we are told as man that when you're too emotional, you're weak. You're soft. You're being a woman, and that is why the patriarchal that system, it does not work, because it has created a world that we're all about money, 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 money. And we don't care about the trees. We don't care about the elements. We don't care about the ancestors. It's all about money and conquering. And that way of living is not sustainable, because land is feminine. Land is emotional. This is why you have 4 elements. Land and earth is very emotional. So if you're not owning your emotional being, you're not being fully aligned to what the earth plane is. So you're not being your full authentic self. You're being a limited self.
I want to circle back for just a moment. You talked about this book, Your Wish is Your Command, and you were mentioning around frequencies that we can listen to activate this royalty wealth gene. What else did he say in that book around that, or maybe some of the, let's say, codes that you've tapped into that you'd like to share for people?
Yes. This book, for the souls who are listening, if you are looking to change your life, like right now, instantaneously, go get the book, Your Wish is Your Command. This book talks about a secret society called the Brotherhood. And the secret society of the Brotherhood talks about the secrets of how to manifest. And Andrew Carnegie, I think I'm saying his name right. Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah.
Him and Henry Ford, they wanted to create a curriculum where they show the secrets of how to manifest and how to think and grow rich. So Andrew, he was the one who talked to Napoleon Hill that told him to make the book Law of Success, that also became Think and Grow Rich. However, Henry Ford said, you know what? I don't want you guys giving all that information. I don't want you guys giving all those codes. So we're going to take these books off the shelves and we're going to dilute it. So Think and Grow Rich and all these other laws of success and self-development, they're diluted. They're not even giving you the right information for you to change your life. And it was intentional from Henry Ford. So what Kevin Trudeau decided to do, he said, you know what? I'm going to make a book and give all this information out. And he created this book. And from him creating this book, he went to jail for 8 years for giving this information out to people. So it shows you the significance, the power of this information, because why did this person go to jail for 8 years? And now he's back, he's teaching this, and he's living his best life. And this book really showed me the 4 magical steps of how to change your life. And I live by this now. Number 1, who do you listen to? You want to listen to people who's doing or being who you want to be. If you listen to people who's not doing and who you want to be, you're going down a direction of your path that is not aligned for you. Number 2, teachability index. How teachable are you? The more teachable are you, the more you're curious. The more curious are you, the more you can learn and you can receive more information. Number 3 is the teaching balance scale. You have to balance your thoughts with action. If you just think you want to be a millionaire, but you don't put in the actions to put in the millionaire, you will never be a millionaire, no matter who you are. So it's really intentional and very valuable to be in the energy of lining your thoughts and allowing actions to bring it into remembrance. And then you want to master the last step, the 4 magical steps. And the 4 magical steps is understanding how to become unconscious competent. Unconscious competent is basically where when you see athletes or you see people who are in their mastery, when they're doing it and it's very, very easy. So how Michael Jackson, how he danced the way he was, how he were. He went into the energy of being autopilot. He became unconscious competent, that he doesn't have to think about dancing. He just dance and people can feel it and they're inspired by it. So this book have given me a foundation of how to move. And this is the foundation that the secret societies, this is how they move. And they learn this information from aliens. And he talks about, he's like, this information is not from me. This information is what we received from aliens thousands of years ago. So me reading this and me allowing this to come through my body, it starts to remember things that I gave when I was in a secret society. That just reading this book, I had a meditation literally 2 weeks ago, and I seen Kevin Trudeau, and he said, "Welcome back to the Brotherhood." I'm like, what's up with all these people saying, welcome back? So it has been showing me my soul essence and how in different lifetimes I have done so much that now in this lifetime, all those things that I have done, those lessons, those challenges, those revelations, this is what I'm supposed to give people in this timeline as Adewale.
Speaking of the mystery schools, if we were to go back to the Halls of Amenti together and pull out one code or piece of information right now that would really assist in the evolution of humanity, in the raising of our consciousness and our spiritual development, what would it be?
Masters, teachers, loved ones, Talak, take us to the Halls of Amenti. Allow us to see, allow us to feel, allow us to remember this place here, right now. Talak, Talak, unlock. Talak, talak, unlock. We are now in the Halls of Amenti. Talak, allow us to receive the information that we need to receive of what we all need right now for humanity. Destiny tablets. Tablets for Earth. 4-dimensional Earth. Number one, we need to understand that rawness, authenticity, will bring freedom to humanity. Authenticity is the highest vibration that we can be in this world. Number two, be okay with being disliked. There's so many souls that want to be liked because they want to control the perception of what people think about them. But when you're in control of the perception of what people think about you, you are not being your full authentic self. When you have people who do not like you, this is when you become free of yourself. Number three, we have to start to understand that we have to love being on Earth. If we want to escape Earth, we're not bringing the full unconditional love here on Earth. This world we are moving into is becoming more four-dimensional, where that is a dimensional conscious where we're moving from heart coherency, heart resonance. Number four, unlock your destiny. Be in your destiny. How do you understand what is your destiny? What do you feel called to do? What do you feel called to be? That's when you will know your destiny. Some souls might need to go to a place or do something to unlock the next chapter of the destiny. We are here to understand and not to know everything. But when you need to know, you will know. We are burping right now because we are releasing the energy of processing things that we need to receive at this time and this space. Talak, is there any more information in these tablets that we need to give the collective? The poles are shifting right now. For some of you souls, you need to understand that the North Pole is connected to the Northern Lights, and the Northern Lights is connected to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which is the Emerald Heart. What does this mean for us right now? With the pole shifting, which is connected to the astrology of the North Node moving into Aquarius and the South Node being into Leo, we have now moved into the time where we're going to be moving in full truth. Own your truth. Embody the truth. Free your mind. Do not allow anything from any society to control you where you feel like you need to shrink. Unlock. Talak. Us moving into these destiny tablets, this is going to help us to remember who we are. The last thing we want to give from the Halls of Amenti is the 7 rays of consciousness. Everything is colors. If you are indigo, if you are a person who clairvoyantly see things, you will start to see colors. And the colors is going to start to give you information of people, of where they are at. The colors represent the 7 chakras, which is connected to the 7 days, which is connected to the 7 heaven dimensions of consciousness. This is what's opening us up right now deeply. That a lot of us is going to be moving more from a non-linear perspective, where we're going to have more intuition that we're going to just know and we're just going to be living in. This is the information that we need to give right now at this time and place from the Halls of Amenti.
Wow. Lots of codes unlocked there.
Yes, there's a lot of vibration. I don't know if you're feeling a lot of heat.
I'm feeling it, dude. I'm feeling it. It's not just the Spain heat wave that we're going through.
Indeed, for sure.
Wow, brother. Oh my goodness. Well, we will definitely call this volume 1 of many, many more conversations, and
Yes.
So much more to explore and transmit and unlock together. Definitely feel that. We end every show with a segment called the Final Trio, which are just a few questions we like to ask at the very end. Before that, where would you send people to connect with you, go deeper into your work and everything that you're offering at this time, and anything else that you have on the horizon right now?
If you're looking to work with me, I have a website. My website is AdewaleAdeoyeOfficial.com. If you're looking for Akashic Records reading, you're looking to unlock your soul blueprint, you're feeling stuck and you feel like you're looking for keys, answers to the next chapter of your life, I have Akashic Records reading, and I would love to work with you guys. If you are a person that's looking for mentorship and you're wanting to move with your gifts and you want to remember who you are, and what you're here to do, I have mentorship. And if you feel called to that, this is what I can help you to do as well. I also have a membership called Clairvoyancy Club, where I have a group where we tune into the unseen and I help people to unlock their gifts, how they need to move, and I have created a community that we also do retreats as well. So if you're feeling called to work with me in those capacities, that's what I have. And the last things that I want to give all the souls who are here at this time from the Akashic Records is this. There's a lot of souls saying, what is going on right now? So much is changing. Some of us don't understand what to do, how to move, and some of us feel like what we used to do, we don't feel called to do anymore. Surrender, allow, and just take one step at a time. Surrender, allow, and just take one step at a time. And the universe will always align you to the place, the destination of where you need to move and what you need to do.
I needed to hear that today, for sure. For the final trio, the first 2 questions are personalized to each guest. The last question we ask at the end of every show. The first one I had for you today is, what do people misunderstand most about you?
Wow. What do people misunderstand about me the most? I feel like the thing that people misunderstand about me the most is my gifts. Some people, wow. Ooh, I kind of want to I feel emotions. Feel like I'm a person that you don't see a lot. A person who sees things is very gifted, speak different languages. Some people have seen my gifts and thought they were demonic or they were bad or they just ghost me because they didn't know what that power was. Then just asking, then just having a conversation. So the thing that people misunderstand about me the most is my gifts. And they don't ask. And what a person don't understand, it'd be good to ask, but people don't ask. And it has put in my vibration of why people don't just ask me.
We're afraid to ask questions.
Yes.
We're afraid to ask questions.
I agree. And I think, like you just said, I think people are scared to ask questions of the answer they might receive. But the answer of what they might receive might enlighten them to a different level of being.
Yes. It's the power of curiosity.
Yes.
Beautifully said. Second question I had for the final trio is, what do you hope your son understands about who their father truly came on this planet to be?
I want my son to know that he is a man that is always available. He is a man who is resilient. He is a man who don't have everything figured out, but he always will show up. He will never give up, and he will always be there for his family, his wife, and the collective family. So that's what I would give my son is I am a resilient person, and I always will show up for my people, and I will always be the change that I want to receive in this world that I want to give to him.
Enough said. Beautiful. Wow. This is the last question. We call it the time capsule question. And it requires us to travel out into the future. Because in the future, there will be a time when we fully transitioned into a new earth and a new way of being. And in that time, the younger generations of today, even children that haven't even been born, will be living in that new earth. And they are going to be looking for the wisdom of the ancestors, of those that have left behind knowledge and information and wisdom for them. And you had the opportunity to leave behind a time capsule for these future visionary leaders and guardians of the new earth. And you can include anything you want. It could be a download of information. It could be a message, a poem. It could be something physical, an object that you would like to leave behind. But what would you put inside of your time capsule, which also represents the legacy of your life?
One of the things that I would put in this time capsule is one of my action figures I used to create as a kid. I would put that there for sure because what I know now of what I was doing was when I was a kid, it was me creating spiritual guides. So I will leave spiritual guides to help them in the future. Another thing that I will put in this time capsule is my journals. I have over 7 years of journaling from all my awakenings, all my plant medicine journeys, all my dreams, everything that has ever really happened to me, I have in these journals. So I will leave that. And another thing that I would leave is I will leave a picture of my wife, Erin. And the reason I would leave a picture of my wife, because this was a woman in my life that gave me hope. That gave me hope that it's people out there that's genuinely in their heart, that genuinely wants to help people. And it's women out there that wants to change the world, and they can be as ambitious as a man. So I would leave a picture of my wife so other little girls can see her and see that, you know what, I aspire to be like her. Because it's been a world where it's been so much suppression of the feminine. So I will show them a feminine that changed my life, that helped me to be in my masculine.
You got me. You got me, my guy. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for who you are in this world, the truth that you carry, the wisdom that you represent, and for being a man that is in their heart. I feel like that is a mirror, and it also allows me to know that there are others that are doing that work, and that there are existing safe men out there as well that I can call a brother. So thank you, man, and I can't wait to do this again.
I'll be here when you are ready, my